Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode.
Welcome back to part 2 of a 2-part episode. Be sure to go back and listen to part 1. You might have missed something. Hope you enjoy the conversation today.
You said something that I've been hammered on this a little bit the last couple of years, and I kind of forgot about it the last 6 months or so. You said something about you just rent them. You don't rent to own them. You just rent them out because they want a 6-month rental.
Yeah.
Right? Why is nobody doing that on sheds?
We've had some people ask about that. I don't know why people aren't doing them. You can do it. I mean, it's just like anything else. You figure out the economics of it. A shed is going to lose its value. You take a brand new shed and start renting that thing out. You know how they are. A year later, that thing's going to be depreciated. But still, you just adjust your price for it. I mean, everybody thinks the rent to, I don't know what everybody thinks, but I think kind of the common thought about rent to own thing, man, that's just the coolest thing. As far as economics, man, this here is the mother lode. Well, it ain't no different than anything else. You got it. It is not a, you just walk away from it and don't take care. You got to work on that thing.
Yes.
Sure, it's a good business. Same as anything else. If you work at it and you have people, you have a demand for it and a way to fill that demand. Any business like that is good business.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the nuts and bolts of all businesses are them things right there. But you know what's even better rent to own? See, when a rent to own deal is done, they're paying a certain amount. You got a rent fee on that thing.
Yeah.
When that rent to own thing is done, you got to go find another contract.
Yeah.
When somebody's renting from you, you don't have to go get contracts. You don't have to go do nothing. That's yours. It's a little different thing,
I agree.
The same. It takes a lot of capital. Takes a lot of capital for it to work. But if you you don't have now when it's empty, you ain't making no money on it. But and on rent, one thing that's good about rent to own contracts is generally you don't start one unless you have a customer. What I'm saying is you don't own a building unless you have a customer. That's how a lot of people do it. Now there's some people that own inventory and all that sort of stuff, but the idea that you can, and there's rent to own people that are late, they don't pay their bills, they don't pay for a long time. It's same as your container sitting there empty and not getting paid on it. That happens too.
Yeah.
But the nice thing that I liked about it, I don't know that you can do it. You can't do it near on the scale as you can rent to own. That's for sure. But it's a pretty nice little profit center. The container thing really I like because they appreciate. Sheds go down. Sheds go down to a certain place and then they're just going to stay there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know why people. Another thing, sheds ain't going to handle as much moving.
Oh yeah, you can move a container 100 times.
Yeah,
it's a steel box.
Yeah. I'll tell you where you run into a little bit of problem. So I'm sitting here at my place here, and I want to rent containers. And then I have containers and sheds that I want to rent to own. So when you go out there marketing to people, like one of the big things about sheds is, hey, quit, you don't have to pay this dead end self-storage rent if you buy a shed. We'll get you taken care of over here. Well, if I'm the self-storage guy, I'm taking money out of my self-storage pocket to do that.
You are.
That thing, but anyhow, I still want the customer to, I want to serve them in the way that's best for them, including financially.
Yes. Yep.
And so,
I agree. I think for the majority of the part, if you sell with that attitude, your customers realize it. You sell on trust. And you buy their trust because they're like, hey, look, if we could self-storage here with him and he'd be fine with that. We could rent to own it and he'd be fine with it. We can pay cash and he'll still treat us the same.
That's right. And I've had people rent to own and leave their stuff on my property, and I rent them. I charge them lot rent.
Yeah. Yep.
And I have one here now I've been charging lot rent after they paid their container off for 2 years probably now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's one of those things. If I run out of space, I would need to move it. But right now
Yeah.
it's okay here. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I don't really do that regularly, but I have done that.
Yeah. I had I had two buildings, one in Georgia and one in South Carolina, that they both paid out the whole rent to own contract and the building never left a lot.
Did they ever deliver? Did you ever?
No, I never delivered it. They used it where it was on the lot.
Oh, they used it there.
And they paid their rent to own contract all the way out.
Wow.
One of them was 24 months in Georgia, and the other one was 36 months. And they paid them completely out and never moved the sheds. Like we never delivered them, we never picked them back up. They didn't have nowhere to put them. The one of them lived in a townhouse, and the other one lived off a cliff somewhere up above
Oh,
Easley. And they would, I'd work Saturday sometimes to give the sales guy a day off or whatever. And I'd be sitting in there, and here he'd come rolling in his little red pickup, and he'd get something out of his shed, and he'd go back home. Later on, he'd come rolling back in again. It's like, and he wanted to know when he came in, can he leave his shed here? Because he tried to buy a shed 4 or 5 different places, and they wouldn't let him leave it there.
oh yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, if the marketplace is telling you to do something, man,
Yeah,
there's a thing. In fact, I was just telling you earlier that I set up a shed for my neighbor to build a house and make a house out of. Well, it was a 14 by 40, I think it's a 14 by 44. And it was a rent to own that never left our yard in Fallon, ever. And the people never used it. And I don't know how long they paid on it for quite a while. And then she was going to sell it to her cousin. So yeah, we'll do that. They're in California. Well, their county all of a sudden got goofy about something about the drawings they needed. And we could not get them. There was no way we could get them drawings and make their county happy. And they just said, we
yeah,
don't want that thing, just keep it. It never left our yard. Yeah. Had to
yeah.
do a
It
little,
happened. It's
yeah.
crazy. So where are you going the next 5 years?
Oh boy, in the next 5 years. Um,
Yeah, what do you see out there? What are you looking for? I mean, like, is the shed industry going to hold up for 5 years? Are I mean, you said, you don't want all your eggs in one basket, and everybody says that these days. Hey, you're preaching to the choir. I've got 10 eggs right now in my basket, and I'm looking for two more yet because I have zero faith in any of my 10 past, further than I can see right now because, dude, I don't know what's coming. Some of these guys, they're just going wide open straight into their one big egg. I guess more power to them. Maybe they're more focused, but what do you got? What do you see?
um, well, I mean, as far as the shed world, man, I I don't know. I'm not in the middle of the whole, near as much, in the middle of the whole environment industry as you would be. There's not as many people out here in this industry, and you hear people talking about consolidation, acquisitions, those sorts of things.
Yep.
And I don't frankly know that much about that, how much of that's going on. I do think, I mean, just when I go look at where we're at today, where we were at, what COVID did to everybody, COVID brought a whole bunch of people in. And
Yep.
I'm pretty sure COVID, our company ain't much different than it was before COVID started, frankly. We thought when COVID hit and we were going through that storm, we thought we were pretty cool people because, I mean, whatever we did was working like magic.
Yeah.
And whenever that disappeared,
Yep.
everything was back pretty much like it was before that. And so, demand has stayed. One thing I was going to say, demand has stayed steady. And I don't know that I would expect that to change. I don't know if regulations would get a whole lot different, but I've been around this since 2002 when my dad, I wasn't around it that much when my dad started, but
Yeah.
I really got into it in '06. And there were times in there when I wasn't around it much, but I mean, I have six brothers and they've all, I think every one of them's been in the shed business a little bit somewhere along the line as a builder or a hauler or all the above. And whenever my family's together, sheds are a thing that get talked about. And for all these years, it's not really, I mean, it has its ups and downs, but it stays there.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any reason to think it wouldn't do that. I think for us out here, I think our weak spot is just taking care of our people, how would you say, getting better at taking care of people and attracting the right kind of people will
Yep.
help our road. Even if we just stay right where we're at in dollars sold and just build efficiencies in our processes, that for our particular company, I think that's a big runway in front of us that we can quite easily get better at.
Yep.
But I don't know. I mean, people just buy too much stuff. They need sheds.
And when they get like me, they need barns.
There you
Sheds
go.
don't work anymore. You gotta put up a big barn. It's like, some days I'm like, what? No, I don't know, man. I feel like I've always said I'm an old soul, and I'm growing up 30, 40 years later than I probably should, like where I feel like I fit. But some people think I must have come through the depression because I can't get rid of nothing. I got trucks that come in and we fix them up, and we throw all the old crap off of them to put new stuff on. And man, it takes everything in me to load it up in the dump trailer and haul it to the scrap yard.
Yeah.
And my poor wife's like, can it not just all go away?
Yeah, that's how my wife would be.
It's yeah, we're in a constant battle about what's out there that's good stuff and what's junk.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And yeah, we literally, the shed industry literally thrives on people's extra stuff.
Introducing the Challenger, the revolutionary new shed mover that's taking the industry by storm. The Challenger features a touchless design, ensuring it only makes contact at the end of the skids and the bottom of the floor joists, so rest easy knowing your gable walls will remain pristine. Worried about reliability? Fear not, the Challenger is always up for the challenge and will not overturn or scuff your shed. Harness the power of innovative wireless technology. Remotely control the Challenger via your smartphone. No cell service needed. And guess what? The cell phone remote comes standard with every Challenger at no extra cost. Featuring floating forks, a 4-directional tilting mast, and sliding weight transfer, move the shed weight precisely where you need it to get ultimate traction. With self-loading capability, straight onto your truck, say goodbye to the need for a hydraulic carriage. The Challenger makes your job easy and more efficient. Choose from 2 machine sizes, 10,000 pounds and 15,000 pounds. Perfect for any job. Visit www.shedchallenger.com or email us at info@shedchallenger.com or call or text 828-220-3508 for more information. Experience the future of shed moving with the Challenger.
Boy, ain't
It
that the truth.
doesn't fit in the house. So you got to put it in the shed, even if it's a closet that has your winter clothes in it because your closet ain't big enough for all your clothes, whatever it is, it's, I mean, yeah, some of our stuff's necessity. You should put your lawnmower in a shed and the tiller or whatever you got. And anymore, if it's outside, you better have it locked up.
Yeah.
So I get that, I'm one of the first guys to say, I do not understand how you go out and you buy a $10,000 and above camper and you don't put an RV shelter over it.
Yeah.
It makes 0 sense to me how you can do that. Like it should automatically be just part of your budget.
Started purchase, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And boy, that $10,000 don't get you much of a camper anymore.
No, it doesn't. But I'm
You
just
can
saying,
you can put a $10,000 camper in a little shed almost.
it's a true story. I'm still buying those $10,000 campers for
Yeah, but they're
whatever it's
not
worth.
new.
But no, they're not new.
No.
Yep. This is true. So yeah, you guys do carports? Do you deal with that?
No, and I've kind of been looking around, and I've got it. I looked around a couple years ago. Anytime I've looked around, talked to people, I couldn't get service worth a flip from any of the companies I talked to. And
Yeah.
and then I did talk to one here in the last few months that we could work with, but the problem they had was getting crews to come out.
Yes.
To come out and do the work. That was kind of a bottleneck in their system. Boy, if a guy could, I'm sure there's people around. We have, in fact, the company that I was talking to, they have a dealer just down the road that's a fairly good, I mean, an acquaintance, a fellow business owners just down the road from our shop in Fallon. And they wanted, I mean, we could outsell her all day, every day, but there's no way I'm going to go in there and I told him, I said, I'm not going to go take her business away.
Yeah.
She's a feed store.
Yeah.
And does them things as well. But they had another town that we could sell in. Really weren't set up to do it that well, and they were going to have a harder time getting their people to go up there. And so that was one. They were about the only people that I've talked to that possibly would be able to service our part of the country.
That's interesting.
Yep. I mean, there's companies all over California. I think the West Coast has a bunch of them, but you get out in some of these more remote places, and it's a little bit tougher to have the manpower and crews that will run out and make it worthwhile.
Yep. You almost need your own install crew that can work part-time.
And that would be a way of doing it. That would be a way of doing it.
Yep.
Like back there where you're at, to do that, do they have to be contractors?
No. Not I say no. It's been about, let's see, when did we last do installs? 2014, I think, is the last we had 2 crews running doing installs. And all you got to do is go get a specialty license, a framing siding specialty license.
Okay.
And you could do it. I guess if they really wanted to get wicked with you, they could say you have to have a roofing license. And I would probably do that over top of the siding license, but no, you can run off a specialty license, and I'm 90% sure that most of the carport guys that are coming in and install them around here, they're not licensed.
Yeah.
No, they're just no.
Yeah, they're not like building pole barns or nothing like that. It's
yeah.
That I know companies that do that. What you just said, they buy the kits and install them. And, use their crews to go do it. That would be more. That would work better for us, I think. Plus, it would give our guys a little bit more to do in slow season.
Yeah, it is. It's something. I actually bought a carport kit today. I got that sawmill out here, and there again, it's like a camper. I can't stand seeing that thing get rained on. Got a lot of money tied up in it. It's got sawdust sitting on it, and fluids around on it. And I told Aaron, I'm like, we got to cover that thing, so go buy a carport kit and throw it up over top of it.
What kind of sawmill did you get?
Oh, I got a Wood-Mizer LT40. Nice, dude. I love it. It's. I told somebody yesterday that if I can find Aaron a helper, I could. That's one of my 10 eggs. I'd actually put a Facebook post up, I don't know, 2 weeks ago probably, about if we should, like, I was looking at it from, should we put it into the mission projects that we're doing, or should I do it as a business project? And I immediately had 3 people step up and said they'll do it, like they'll help fund it if we do it as a business. So I just kind of automatically did. I just rolled it into another business. It's my 10th. And those guys know me. They know what I do, what all my eggs are. You know, my poor sister up in Ohio, she goes crazy because people ask her all the time, what in the world does your brother do? She's like, I don't know what he does. Nobody knows what he does, you know.
What does he not do?
Yeah, what does he not do? So it's just but I'm telling you, man, I remember as a little kid cutting trees down with grandpa and hauling them to his cousin's sawmill, and barely, it was like waiting for baby chicks to hatch, waiting for that lumber to come back so you could build something cool with it. You know, we'd have to use 20 penny ring shanks and 2-pound sledgehammers to drive them. You know, we built all of grandpa's barns. They're built out of oak material and metal. And that's just what you did.
Yeah.
And
Just
I
cut your own
always,
stuff.
man, I love wood chips, you know, whether it's from a chainsaw, a sawmill, or a table saw, or a planer.
Yeah.
That is still my passion, is working with wood. And if I can build something out of this sawmill wood that, so the whole thing that got me going this time about it was we had all those volunteers come in the first 3 weeks after Helene hit here local in my backyard, clean up neighborhoods, clean up trees. And all I saw was all this huge oak wood just going to waste. And dude, it's like, if we can't get anything else out of doing all this free labor for all these people, they couldn't afford to hire the tree services, and their insurance wasn't going to cover them. I was like, somebody needs to saw it up. Something needs to happen with it instead of FEMA just hauling it all off and chipping it.
Yeah.
Which it took too long to get around to doing it. I'll probably have 10% of the logs I could have had.
Good grief. And you have a lot.
And I have 250. I could easily have over 2,000. I know I could.
Is this all on your property?
The 250 are on my property right now. Which now you understand why my wife's yelling about always need.
Yes, I guess. Yeah, that's. I know. I'm with you on the wood thing. I built. I helped erect steel buildings for a little bit in Colorado, man. I do not like working with steel. I like working with wood. Yeah. I'm not a builder. That may be a bit confusing to people. I own a shed company, but I'm not a builder.
Yeah.
In agriculture, man. I milk
cows.
I milk cows for a living, and when I wasn't doing that, I was looking at cows' butts, chasing them through the mountains horseback.
Yeah.
I did not do. I don't have, but I know some about it by being around it, of course. But I would rather work with wood. Even my dad had a sawmill. He had one of them wood misers for. He just sold it a couple of years ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, he. I tell people there's a reason my last name is Plank. It ain't Steele. My name is not Irvin Steele. It's Irvin Plank.
Yeah, you even added to it for Facebook.
There you go.
Aren't you still Wooden Plank on Facebook, or did you? Yeah.
Oh,
I got people ask me all the time about. They're like, "Is that his real name, like Wooden Plank?" And I'm like, "Well, of course it is." I'm like, "If your last name was Plank, why wouldn't you name your kid Wooden?" Yeah. I'd have a twisted and a crooked and a straight. I'd have all kinds of weird kids.
There you go. A long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, it's I do. I still that's part of the reason I'm still tied up in sheds is because I still like to build stuff, Man, if my body would let me, I'd build sheds. Wouldn't bother me in the least, but no. I tried that a couple of years ago and I paid dearly for that. I'm like, nope.
Oh man.
Not doing that again.
Yeah.
So even when we had all those volunteers in here on Thanksgiving week and we built those sheds here, and Jeremy, he's building sheds up there in Barnersville right now for us. I love telling them how to do it or what's up with this or that or whatever, but man, it doesn't take long at all for me. And Aaron will tell you, I can't do anything slow. So if
Oh,
I'm gonna frame a wall, it's gonna get framed quick. We ain't got time to screw around and do this or that. It just doesn't work.
you think you're still 22? That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem. It sucks. But so.
Hey, speaking of your operation in North Carolina, are you still is that still things going up there?
It's still going. It's a little bit. It's frustrating right now, to be honest with you, because we can't get all three pieces to work at the same time. And my three pieces are getting a shed, finishing a shed, and delivering a shed. Those are my
Yeah.
three. That's my three-headed beast. And back in January and the first part of February, well, most of February actually, December, January, and February, it was a well-oiled machine. We pretty much had all three pieces whenever we needed it. Currently, I don't have any haulers. They're all busy, and I get it.
Yeah.
The ones that I did have, I probably wore them out. They're like, I never want to see a mountain again. I don't. It was brutal. It's hard. So it's pretty much right now. It's if it's to be, it's up to me on the hauling side. And now even the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been a little harder. I think I've probably got 9 sheds that need to be finished out on the inside. They're wired. Electrician came in and wired them all up, and now we need them insulated. Well, most of them are insulated. They just need to be paneled and floored.
Are you saying I never thought about that part. I mean, I know it's hard. It's doing it in the mountains, but you're saying when you go deliver it up there, it ain't like it's just a pain in the butt in every language. That's just how it is in every
my
step,
word.
probably.
So when we had the bash in Tennessee, this is hilarious because I'm going way back. 2019, we had the bash in Tennessee. We were all pretty much no-namers. That was the first big one. We knew each other on Facebook and some of the pages and stuff. And then, you have 500 haulers and 500 supporters show up one weekend, and everybody's trying to get to know each other a little bit or whatever. And then all of a sudden, this one guy in the mule competition just stomps a mud hole in all the rest of them. And you're like, what?
Unlock the power of productivity with Cardinal Leasing. Are you looking to elevate your business operations with top-tier equipment? Look no further than Cardinal Leasing. We offer a wide range of reliable and high-quality equipment tailored to meet your unique needs. Flexible leasing options. Whether you need short-term rentals or long-term solutions, our customizable leasing plans are designed to provide maximum flexibility and affordability. Conventional financing available. Cardinal Leasing also offers great conventional finance options for those of you that prefer that over-lease purchase options. Expert support. Our team of experienced professionals is here to guide you every step of the way, ensuring a seamless leasing experience. Boost efficiency. With our top-of-the-line equipment, you can enhance productivity, reduce downtime, and achieve your business goals faster. Why choose Cardinal Leasing? Competitive rates, exceptional customer service, hassle-free process, quick and easy approvals. Don't let outdated equipment hold you back. Partner with Cardinal Leasing today and take your business to the next level. Contact us now. Visit our website at equipment.cardinalleasing.us or call us at 618-803-4086 to get started.
What just happened here? We were doing so good. Everybody was doing good. And this guy just comes up and stomped a mud hole in everybody. Well, a lot of those guys, and some of them even admitted on Facebook, when they came and hauled in Marlon Koblentz's territory, they're like, we were a little, Martin Hostetler even laughs about it. He's like, I was a little upset that I thought I was a pretty good mule driver until that dude showed up. Well, then he came up and hauled sheds for me one weekend, delivered a whole bunch of them. And Martin ain't a slouch. He gets it done.
Yeah.
And he left and he's like, I understand why Marlon won the mule competition. Because nothing you do up here is easy, and most of it is ridiculous. And
I see. I don't,
dude,
yeah. Yeah, if you imagine, I mean, I've been up there some, and that's nothing is level. Everything is up and down.
right.
People put houses at places you just go, good grief. And then they want
Yeah.
you to put a shed up there. Well, in your case, the shed is their house a lot of
Yeah,
times.
there you go. And now you run into people that are desperate for a shed, and they'll put it anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
It's poor old Roman. He came in here. I finally got some. I had like 22 sheds over in Memphis that a guy over there, shoot, I don't remember his name now, but he basically said, if you send me drivers, I'll load them with sheds. Like, I was like, what do you got? Like, what are you going to send me? He says, I don't know. You send a driver over here and we'll make sure he's loaded. We'll send him with sheds. So Roman, he's from Fort Wayne, flat country, flat as a freaking pancake up there.
Yeah, I'll guarantee you.
He brings a shed down to a show in Nashville last week, and he's got 5 days to kill before the show ends. By the time set up 3-day show and then tear down, he's like, hey, I'll run to Memphis and get you a couple loads of sheds and run them over there. And he's in a semi truck. And first, okay, so obviously the mountain just, what's the word I'm looking for? It just showed a problem that was probably hiding already. Exacerbated the problem, but he's like, man, I lost high range in my transmission. He's no. Yeah. So he's got 18 speed. So he's got a splitter. So he's got low and high range, and then he splits those gears. He lost the splitter on the high side.
Oh yeah.
And 18 speed, 500 horse semi truck, and he's like, dude, that mountain showed but they pulled our weaknesses out in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And he's all tore up because he's disappointing me because he said he's going to bring 2 or 3 loads and he brought 1 load. And I'm like, dude, I'm just happy to get 1 load in here.
Yeah.
So dude, those, I literally roasted 1 set of brakes going down a mountain, icy mountain, with a cabin one day, because I didn't have no trailer brakes on the cabin. And it was a completely finished out Texas cabin. It was heavy. I don't know what it weighed, but it was heavy. And we were going down the side of a mountain that I found later is like 12 to 14% halfway down. And it was iced over bad enough that the Canadian was outside the truck walking.
This is a pickup truck?
This is my 2500 white truck. And the next day, you heard the brakes start, like you could feel it was like the feelers were starting to squeal a little bit.
Yeah.
And the next day they were gone. They weren't just bad, they were gone. All new rotors, all new brake pads, all new everything. I'm pretty sure that I've killed my transmission. So that's another long story. The transmission that was in it from factory was fine. I wanted a bigger transmission because I'd built my motor bigger. And I put a built transmission in, and it's been terrible ever since we started. But at least it's been working. Pretty sure I've pretty much killed that thing.
Good grief.
It's brutal up there.
Man. Well, I'll tell you what, right now, we're kind of putting a plan together to make a bit of a trip back there this summer. And by the way, there's a reunion just down the road from your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're planning to take that thing in, and I don't know yet what. I definitely want to come up there. I have no idea yet. You know how it is. End up in Ohio as well, so we got Virginia, but I really want to figure out a way to get a day or two, or
oh man,
what things are going on. Maybe even a little bit more time than that if you're still in the middle of stuff over there. That work you're doing, man, that's I was listening to your podcast with what is it, Jeremy? Was that the guy's name?
Jeremy Barker.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know there's all kinds of ways of talking about that work. People got all kinds of ideas. I don't care about none of that stuff. I like the way you think about it. There's people that need help, and that's something that's something we just don't do well enough. I
Yep.
don't think as people, just help people as other people who are created in God's image. That's just another,
Yeah.
a creation here in God's image kind of a thing. And I know it sounds like there's a real mess back there. I mean, and some of the things that y'all talk about, I'm not that familiar with. It makes sense, but the emotional and mental stress these people go through, and it'll be there for years. And I mean,
Yeah, it will.
those seeds the fruit's gonna come out of it down the road if there ain't some help.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's just a tremendously valuable thing that you're doing for that community there.
It will wear on you. Even the emotional side that comes in from every day, having to tell people every day that you can't help them anymore because you're maxed out. There's no, I'm like, I'm not going to give you false hope and tell you I'll put you on the list. And then, 6 months, a year from now, you're still not, I'll never get to you.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they're like, I don't care. I still want to be on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not, I'm not going to put you on the list when I know I can't. And some days I feel like I got the PTSD of all of them on me.
I don't doubt that.
I don't want to cry about it because I don't want to, but it's like it does. And Aaron will tell you, young dude like him, fixing to turn 25 years old, whole life in front of him, never really has been into anything like what we're doing now. He will tell you in a heartbeat two things. He will say, if you want to find Jesus, go up in those mountains and help somebody. That's where you're going to find Jesus like you've never seen him before.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and the second thing is, we don't help each other enough.
Just
and
in a circle of friends or just as humans?
As humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't help each other enough.
Yeah.
We've somewhere along the line, we've become dependent upon the government helping people. And then, people like us want to say that it's we the people. We want we the people to be in charge of this country, but we the people ain't willing to step up and do what needs to be done.
Boy, that's a fact. And we also talk about how back in the good old days and all the different mindsets and the way community worked. Maybe not so much about community, but other things that were different 30, 50, and 100 years ago. Well, one of the things that was also different was sense of community that we lost in a lot of ways. And that right there, where we just helped each other and we talked to each other and do these different things. I mean, I live out here in the middle of nowhere now. I lived in some places very remote. One ranch I lived on. They did a study, or I guess a study, and they were trying to find the most remote location in the United States. And they went by 5 things: how far you were from the post office, a power line, paved road, a railroad, and I guess town was the other one. And that ranch I was on was the furthest one with all 5 of those things. But there's other places that are further away from town, but they got electricity or something. I don't know, maybe the other thing was a telephone line. But in those remote places, you have that sense of community. You might have a neighbor that lives, I think our closest neighbor was 20 miles away. And when they drive by, they stop and talk to you, and they don't care. Like, they do not care what time of the day it is. They don't stop and talk. But when they want to stop and talk, nobody cares.
Yeah. Yep.
You're in the middle of a project. If you are, they'll just jump in and help you while they talk.
Yeah.
Or
yep.
You're eating. It does not matter. And now where I live, it's a remote area, but it's remote as in when you get away from this centralized. There's a lot. I see a lot of houses from where I live, and I got neighbors that moved in next to me. It's probably a quarter mile of their house, and we never even went over and seen them. Why did we do that? Why didn't we go see them when they take them a meal? I did go visit them with them one day, but
Yeah.
I mean, we live right next, but we all get chop, 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 running,
Yep.
looking at our stupid phones, doing all kinds of other stuff, and
Yes, sir. Yep.
sense of community, man. That's a powerful thing.
Yes, it is. It is. That's something that we brought up there, though. Even the Mattress Sisters, sitting there talking to them one day, and Cynthia made the comment that river that's right there behind them.
Yeah.
She's like, I never saw that river before. I've lived here for 6 years and I've never saw that river because there was always there's too much shrubbery and bushes and trees and stuff in the way. She said, all those neighbors over there, I didn't even know they were over there. And now they're right there. And I asked her, I said, Cynthia, how many of those neighbors did you know before the storm? That one. And she pointed at the one house up there. I said, what about those and those and these and this and this one? Nope. They drive by, we'd wave at them.
Yeah.
I said, how many of them do you know now? She goes, all of them.
Yeah. Isn't that
I'm
something?
like, so do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? She says, oh, it's very much a good thing.
Yeah.
And you hear it all over those. There's 25, 30, 35 communities up there that are like Barnardsville. And every one of them will tell you that, now they know people they know neighbors they never knew before.
Yeah.
It's
and just a little bit of communication, man. Just know, and you're in the same boat. I was thinking about some of that stuff here the last couple of days about something else. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of how we do it in families a little bit. Well, we fight with each other until somebody picks on us, and then we're all of a sudden big buddies.
Yep.
And as soon as it's the same thing. If you were wandering around in Hong Kong and you run into an American and he might be a flaming liberal Democrat, but he's an American.
It doesn't matter to you.
You're happy to talk to that guy.
Yep, you are.
I mean, you're just like, it's us over here kind of a thing. And all of them little, but it's, you can, we're a whole lot more, we have way more in common than we do not in common. And if we kind of would help each other work on those things a little bit, think about those things, we would probably connect a lot better. And I'm just as bad as the next guy on all that.
Yeah, that was something that came up, working up there too, is the fact that, Aaron and I would talk about this coming home some days about the people we helped that day. And, they'd cry, we'd cry. They'd be happy, we'd be happy. It was all kinds of emotions across the board.
Yeah.
And on the way home, I'd pull up, Facebook or something. Here are two of my buddies ranting about the opposite political party. And I'd look at Aaron and I'd be like, look, seriously? Like, did we ever think about asking these people who'd you vote for? Are you a Trump fan or are you not a Trump fan? And man, it has, like, most of my friends would probably say, the dude's done went off the deep end because he doesn't support anybody anymore. I don't care. It doesn't matter anymore. When people need help, you don't care who they are.
Yeah.
You're back to the human race. That's and even when I find out 3 months later, when some of them start posting up stuff, I don't care. If that's where they are and that's what they want to believe, I'm fine with that. I made a friend with them. I'm going to be a friend with them. If they want to walk away, that's on their part, but I'm not going to.
Exactly.
I got a big day tomorrow. I have a fully finished 18 by 40 cabin that's going to require 2 to 3 meals to get it delivered. Way back in the sticks and down a dirt lane. With all the rain we've had lately, it's going to be a mess. Well, it needs a bigger mule.
Well, when you talk, Cardinal listens, and you asked for it. With its diesel-powered 69-horse engine and capacity to move 40,000-pound sheds, the Mule 9069 is ready to turn your big days into just another day in the good life.
Ah, that's right. You're talking about the one they had up in Michigan at the shed show. That monster mule, that thing was awesome.
That's right. It's the one you've seen at all the Shed Holler barbecues.
Man, yeah, there's nothing like a little diesel donkey to make my day go so much better.
Yeah,
It's
their raw issues on
yes,
both sides are the exact same thing. All of us got the
yes,
same. We just got a little. In fact, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's very small differences. We may
yeah,
think they're huge, and some of
yeah,
them, if you go down them, they do manifest themselves down the road as significantly different. But if you're going to connect with people, and you, first of all, ain't me or you, no human being is going to change the whole world or even a very big part of it. Like
yeah,
those people by far are only going to really influence a small number of people. Because
yeah.
I heard a guy talking about that, I think yesterday. Do you know who the richest guy in the world was 30 years ago?
30 years ago, I'm gonna take a shot and say it was Sam Walton.
Do you know who the richest guy in the world was 60 years ago?
No,
What about 90 years ago?
no clue.
This
Rockefellers,
was the
Rothschilds.
richest guy in the world, and nobody knows who they are.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
you made a guess. And so even the richest guy in the world today, and I was thinking this guy said someone else. I had never heard of the guy he said. Whatever the case, his point was, even the richest guy in the world doesn't have but so much influence. Like
Oh
that's
no,
just
that's yeah,
the end of the line. And the
yep,
influence he has is usually not deep with huge
yep,
amounts of.
yep.
And so what you're talking about there is if you can put aside or if those differences keep us from loving each other and caring
Yeah.
for each other, man,
Not, not.
we need to
Yep.
look in our hearts and see what's going on.
No kidding. Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and I don't know, for me it even goes deeper for me as a Christian. It even goes deeper in the fact that when you look at Jesus being from Nazareth, which was looked down upon, and then he was always bringing up the Samaritans or helping the Samaritans or getting them involved. The woman at the well, she was a Samaritan. She went back and turned into the biggest evangelist during Jesus' time. She
yeah,
brought the whole city back around,
yeah.
based on him. And it's like, I'd rather err on the side of not caring about all this stuff that I'm supposed to care about than err on the side that I care too much about it. You follow me?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna err on the side of loving people and doing what I feel like is the human right thing to do. You can
Yeah.
take it or leave it.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's enough of that. There's room. I mean, there's room for concerns and all that sort of stuff. There's always that. But in a crisis like this type of thing is, man, somewhere along the line, there's room to just humans helping humans.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not like you went into well, I don't even know. I'm not even gonna say what I was thinking because all of it you can make an angle about any group of people to not help them for whatever reason.
Oh,
Uh,
you could. Yeah, you could well, you can. People do. You can make an excuse and talk yourself out of helping anybody.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. Very true.
yeah. I definitely think, and if you study the life of Jesus, like you're talking about, that was not, and that's what everybody likes to talk about. How, especially when they're the ones who are in a pickle about something. Well, Jesus helped everybody, so you should help me. Well, then
Yeah.
why ain't you helping other people that are in a pickle like you?
Yeah. Yep. I've got people all the time that they're like, well, I wish I could help. And I'm like, well, you can. Every dollar helps and every prayer helps. You can always,
Yeah,
I mean, oh my word, have I ever learned how important, like I've done disaster work my whole life.
yeah,
This is by far. I mean, I'd almost put a 10 multiplier on it by far. the most demanding physical and spiritual one we've ever done.
I see.
So I know it's always been a little cliche to say that, well, first of all, pray for us, second of all, fund us. But it has never been truer than in this case that I don't know, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories and all this bull crap. I don't buy any of that, for the
Oh
record.
man.
But I'm saying that the spiritual warfare that has happened in the last 7, almost 8 months now, hold it. It's coming right up on 8 months in a couple days. Dude, it's crazy. And almost everybody that's come and helped us, that's been here for at least a day or two, they will tell you they have felt it.
I see.
So it's, yeah, when I tell people on Facebook that you can always pray for us, it's a most definite always pray for us. Yes, we are. I mean, I've been blessed beyond measure for the people that have funded us. You've helped us. A lot of people have helped us. But at the end of the day, we wouldn't have got anywhere without the prayers we've got. It's crazy.
And the fact and the fact that you can sense that or feel that tells you that there's a battle going on. I mean,
Oh yeah,
there's no point I mean, if there's no tension, then there's nothing pushing against good.
yeah, yep,
And so,
yep,
yeah, that ought to tell you that preaches right there, man.
yep. Yeah, it does. And that's why Aaron says what he says about you want to find if you're going to church every Sunday and you can't figure out where this Jesus guy is they're talking about, go to the mountains and work on
Yeah.
it. Just
Yeah.
go up there. You'll find them in a hurry.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So
Wow.
yeah. It's been amazing. It has been, 2 weeks ago we kind of halfway opened the shop again. To start taking some work back in because, I mean, at some point, a turnip's dry. I got to do something, and so we're starting to build back up a little bit, try to get some funding, try to keep ourselves afloat so we can actually. You can't help anybody if you're not living anymore.
That's
So,
right. That's a fact.
so we're kind of focused on that a little more right now. Which the sad thing about that is we don't get as much done as quick as we did, but at least we can keep going.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's before I forget, between Hartwell, Georgia, where that reunion is, and Martinsburg, Ohio, where you're going on that same trip at some point. Right along the way is Barnardsville, and there's a really nice place there you can stay at.
I see.
So there you go, just for the record.
Well, very good. Well, we'll Barnardsville. Yeah, no, that's definitely on the planning board.
Yep.
Try to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
So absolutely. We're
When
actually
is that?
our plan is actually go to Harrisonburg. We have a bunch of friends in that area as well,
Oh, nice.
and then go to Ohio. But you can do the same thing. You can
Oh,
still
yeah. Same thing. Still
Yeah.
runs you up. You're still going up to 81.
Yeah.
So, yep. That's cool.
Yes,
When
sir.
is that reunion?
I think it's the third week in June or July. Third.
Okay. All
I
right.
think that's
Cool.
what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, cool deal. Well, hey, man, it's been good chatting with you.
Absolutely, man. I've
Um,
thoroughly enjoyed this. I like listening to you guys' conversations. Keeps me a
yes,
little
sir.
bit in the loop with I'm not very, like I said, I'm not, I can get in the loop pretty quick, but I'm not in the day-to-day loop of the shed world
Yep.
too well out here. But yes, sir. My pleasure.
Yep. Anything you want to throw out there for anybody listening?
What do I want to throw out there for anybody listening? Help Sam get those people taken care of.
I'll take all of that we can get, but like I said, I've been blessed.
Yeah.
It has been
No.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
Yeah, we'll keep plugging.
yeah, just man, there's so many opportunities. And one thing that I've learned, I like business. I've like I was telling you earlier, I was in the cows. And I got my children are at the age now where they can help in that kind of work, and I want to do more of it, mostly because of them. I
Yeah.
spent 20 years doing it, and it's still a good exercise to get out, do other things, doing that sort of stuff. But one of the things that I've learned in away from the cow business and in just regular business where you're helping people every day is the influence or the difference you can make in people's lives, man. If you'll just listen. And this is to all the people in this industry and any type of business, man. Take advantages of those times that you got somebody in front of you that's in a pickle and pray with them, help them, listen to them. Just sometimes they just need somebody to listen to. Sometimes I want them to get on out of here because I got other stuff to do. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of it's a healthy thing for me to sit there and slow down and listen to my fellow humans and be there for them in some manner.
100%. I agree. Cool deal. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you as a fellow businessman in the shed industry, but also as a friend and a cousin. Look forward to many good times.
Absolutely, man. Hang in
Cool.
there. We're praying.
Yes, sir. We'll keep plugging away.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yes, sir. See
All
you.
right, guys. Thank you once again for joining us and listening to another episode. Actually, I think we talked long enough. This probably turned into a 2-part episode, so that's perfectly fine. That's good stuff. Anybody that wants to come on, reach out to me. I need people. Shannon's always asking me, hey, you got more guys coming on the show? So anytime you guys want to just chat for a while and come on and talk, just reach out to me. Be happy to set up a Zoom call, come see you, do whatever we need to do. But thank you once again for listening to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast, Sambassador Friday Fun Day style. Till next time, thank you and God bless.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.